Alrighty. Pop out the stream, the chat. Once again, almost no notifications to anybody that I'm going on to live stream. Ooh, things have changed a little since last I was here. Should be a fun topic today. Not that I actually ever stick to a topic, but you know. Is anybody going to show up? Hey, there we go. Hey, Matt. Hello, Florida. Please don't hurt me. Hey, Kairos. Hey, Stormbringer. HB Haga, nice to see you. Grudgeul. The Real Gibraltar, nice to see you. Thomas. David, hello. Hey, Sky. You're feeling deeply early. Puns. Hey, Glenn. Thank you, sir. Yog, nice to see you. Yes, you're bright and early. Right on time, as a matter of fact. So, let's get stuck into it. Good afternoon, Bubba. So, I've just noticed on Twitter and various other, places where Outrage formulates, that the latest crop of Outrage seems really manufactured and quite a stretch. Like, just to cover the two that are springing to mind quickly. One was a Dimension 20 clip with Brendan Lee Mulligan talking to somebody else, and it's a joke. They're having a joke, right? It's a humorous podcasty type thing, and she, a comedian, and an improv actor, is making this play that she wants to get rid of dice and get rid of the table, and Brendan is playing along with this, and the narrative from it, the people are like, and it springs this whole thing about diceless roleplay and how, these newcomers to the hobby are ruining everything and they want to get rid of everything we love and blah, blah, blah. And all the old school grognards are just piling on board with it. Honestly, you pack of whinging babies. This is the tactic of the people that you profess to not like, that they take something which is clearly not that intended, and you take it out of all proportion and you turn it into some big diatribe about the particular group of people that you hate. And I'm sick of it. And I'm just like, it doesn't deserve any wind. It's like, stop rabbiting on about this stuff. You're just making yourselves look bad. And the other thing is with, what was it? The Dimension 20 thing and, oh yeah, that's right, Wizard of the Coast and dead naming people. And I had a deep conversation with people from both sides of the fence on this, and they came to a strange consensus, actually, that if you don't want to get dead named, change your official name. This was the thing. It wasn't Wizard of the Coast that was ultimately responsible. Well, they could have fact checked it and stuff like that, or they could have had some people on board who were making sure that things got altered between the union companies posting the list of people's legal names, which is part of the requirement for this whole process if you want to do it properly. So they got the list of everybody's legal names that are working there, because basically the creatives are unionizing, which I'm fully on board with, and they should do, considering that Wizard of the Coast is absolutely going to lay off a whole bunch of people as soon as they get AI stuff on board and get their production stream. They're basically just producing all the artwork and stuff like that, and as soon as they can get an excuse to get those drops going, they'll dump everybody. Anyway, so they're trying to unionize, and then they have elections or some such, and they go to an outside agency. The outside agency then posts a list of the candidates and uses their legal names. The people who are working at Wizard of the Coast don't go by those names. They go by their assumed names with their new identities, and they take umbrage to being dead named. And I'm like, well, somebody who changes their name through a legal deed poll, in any country where this happens, that technically is a dead name as well. You can't use their name that they used before they changed their name officially. And it's not a difficult process to go and change your name officially. So who's responsible ultimately? Lazy people who don't go and change their names, I guess. And the fact that it's like all of them? What is this, some sort of a thing? I don't know. But it's not Outrage. It's not Wizard of the Coast problem. The ultimate responsibility for it lies with the individuals who want to change their identity. They've got a legal means to do so. It would have avoided the entire thing. That's about it, really. And just, this whole... Yes, during the time where the OGL thing was going on and stuff, there was legitimate reasons for outrage, and, a lot of outrageous stuff was going on. But this particular week, I'm like looking at the latest crop of outrage and thinking, what is this, an industry? Is this is just, cancel culture, clawing at straws. There's nothing here. It's all a nothing burger. There's nothing interesting going on, and it's all over the place. And I'm looking at these actors who are promoting this and propagating these rumors and stuff. And I'm just like, can't you find anything else in life to be concerned about? Is this really how you seek engagement? Is just, propagating negativity? Let's get back to fun and role-playing games and looking at, alternate rule systems and stuff that are cropping up. I've been having a lot of fun with investigating Nimble. And I'm going to be talking about that this month in my videos. I've got a new gaming group that I'm a part of, and we've just started our campaign, had our session 0 the day before last. It went really well. Had one person down because he had his son's 9th birthday party, understandable. We had one other prospective person who was maybe going to show up, but he didn't join the Discord beforehand, so we thought, yeah, maybe not, and sure enough, he didn't show. But the 2 players that were there, we established the whole what they wanted, which is lots of exploration. And they were perfectly happy with me doing a completely homebrewed world. I'm taking them to the city of Gakligand, got the whole continent mapped out, and the twist in the campaign is that humans in this world are in decline, kind of like the elves and the dwarves, and their empire is in decline, is being taken over by goblinoids. And the city that they're going to is one of the last frontiers where humans dominate the city. Because it's the last frontier of this continent on the east coast, the wilderness is unexplored, and there's uncontacted populations of elves and dwarves and things who have never seen humans before. So there's both, there's a twist on the familiar, and also this opportunity for first contact and exploring genuinely unexplored wilderness. So I'm really looking forward to it, and we're going to be playing with the Nimble system, which is brand new to us. So I've been watching lots of tutorial videos and things like that. That's true, yeah. People who live and breathe outrage will latch onto any available source, but in this case, the source is it's a weak source. Weak source. Manufacturing outrage is how the blue check marks pay the bills. Well, I got a blue check mark, but I didn't really seek it. It's just because I'm a person, who has a platform. Hey, Steve Kinney. A Zerberry Jam, hello. Yeah, it is a cool concept. I'm really looking forward to it because I like the idea of playing a primordial dwarf or a primordial elf. And also, it gives the humans, because we've got one human character, they're all going to play spellcasters. So it's a all spell slinging group, which is fun. And it's an opportunity to play a human with an elf perspective, because the goblinoids view the humans as humans view elves. So a previous empire, lived for a long time, are overly clingy to the resources and the status quo in their old empire. And the humans see the goblins, despoiling things and wrecking stuff and building stuff and fighting with each other and all their frenetic activity. And they're like, get off my lawn. So it's an opportunity to play human perspective with an elven sort of twist to it. I thought it would be cool. Ooh, Stargate Arc. Nice. Yeah. Stargate's actually got a really good 5th edition sourcebook that they kickstarted. And it's got some really interesting game mechanics in it that I think benefit a lot of 5th edition designers if they look at the Stargate SG1 RPG It's got a really good way of doing sort of episodic drama dial. So some episodes of TV series, you don't want a main character to be threatened. It's more sort of comedy stuff, or you'll have a character arc or something like that. And when you're getting towards the end of the season, you want the drama to turn up. It's like, so-and-so may die. And you can do that with Stargate. It's got a toggle that just basically adjusts all of the base attribute scores, all the DCs and everything. Makes it really interesting. Sort of the deadliness gets turned up. Your outrage fatigue is a thing. Outrage, feeding on outrage. Yeah, we're all outraged about that too. Yeah, but the fact that outrage is an industry, like, first of all, I identified very early on, this is before the OGL thing, that outrage is a marketing tool. It's free marketing. So if you can just dial it so that it's not shut down your company or everybody boycotts you, outrage, but just outrageous enough to make it into the news circuit, not the mainstream news circuit, but the alternate news circuit, then essentially you just attach whatever product is associated with it, not looking at you, White Wolf, and some of your outrage, or like the Hadozi and the Spelljammer thing. Like, how many people are actually really angry about that? They're angry enough to tweet about it, but they're not angry enough to not buy the product. And that is outrage marketing. So negative press, essentially. I mean, most advertising thrives on the fact that it's so annoying that it sticks in your memory because it's like an annoying song that you can't get out of your head. People don't make well, they do, but they rarely make Oscar-worthy adverts. They're always sort of gauged to be annoying as hell. The deadliness of humanity. Yeah, there's a whole breed of YouTube videos which are about aliens and how scary humans are. It's a whole genre. It's like SCP, but for space races and stuff. It's really good. Outrageous! It's unfortunate, but it's a clear propagation of capitalist business practices, and particularly corporate. And the most egregious thing, I think, these days, particularly very recently, is performative ethics by corporations. Wizard of the Coast is a prime example of that, as are pretty much every single AI company. Performative ethics, if they can get away with it, they will, and their default is sleaze, But it's only when they get, it was only when Grok got snapped for doing deepfakes and things like that they hauled in the censorship. But the censorship was designed so that it used up people's quota, so it generated the video content and the images and stuff, and then they censor it. They put it through a censor filter at the very end, so it's already burnt all the compute. They don't look at the source material or the prompt and go, nope, that's not allowed. They allow it to waste all their compute time. And no wonder they had a huge bottleneck and throttled everybody. I pay attention to this sort of stuff so you don't have to. In other news, I'm just editing right now. I was sort of halfway through the editing of it and realized, oh shit, that's right, I promised everybody I was going to do a live stream. I'm doing the Complete Guide to Wisdom right now. And it's an attribute that's dear to my heart because I play a lot of clerics. And if you are a cleric, having a high wisdom score is really important. And the role-playing aspect of it is something that I touch on in the video quite a lot, where the way it works is people formulate their opinion about your leadership potential from your wisdom, more so than your charisma. Charisma is how you get their attention. It's the way that you talk and things like that, but you can still sound like a bubbling idiot with everybody looking at you. And people with low charisma can be talking in a monotone like this, but be the smartest person in the room, and also be the most, observant person in the room. And the slow talking, not drawing attention to himself person, but everything that he says comes true, that's a leader that people follow. Stable, steady, pay attention to that guy. Yeah. Look for the quiet one that everybody's looking to. That's the guy with the high wisdom score. Yeah, I really do enjoy making them. The research for this one went really deep because I go through every single edition of the game and also Pathfinder and other ones. I had a look at DC-20 and other ways that those systems handled stuff, but quite often they just drop wisdom entirely or split it into separate attributes. And it's mostly taking from 3.5 and 5th editions split into skill use and expressing wisdom through skills, which is the way they handled how wisdom handles lots of different hats essentially in the game. Can you imagine going back to playing old school D&D where there weren't skills and things, and you're just rolling on a wisdom and trying to figure out what wisdom actually covers? Perception wasn't a thing. Passive perception was a big thing for 4th edition. That's where that came from. So yeah. Oh no, that's 5th edition. 5th edition. 4th edition went back to stripping things back to the will save, essentially. Bumbling idiots unite. Yeah! Yes. We are at corporation, of course, support current thing, and remember, buy/product. Yes. My vegetable garden is currently in fallow state, which means that I'm not doing anything with it. It's winter. I don't even mow my lawns because because of the prevailing weather patterns, it's going to get very dry during the winter. So I let the grass grow so that I get moisture retention in the soil, or in the topsoil anyway, because it's good for the trees. The trees don't want to dry out. And also, my cat loves catching mice and rats, and they tend to prefer properties that have got long grass or patches of grass and stuff. You made it, Carlos. Nice to see you. I think the tribute series of videos are good, like evergreen long form content that a lot of people can benefit from in different ways. From a role playing point of view, it's really good because you in the wisdom one, I didn't go into how it combines with high or low stats like charisma though. That's kind of why I'm talking about it here. But I cover, because it's like 40 minutes, I cover all sorts of stuff every single edition, and I do go through the different point scores of wisdom, and we do talk about wisdom versus intelligence and that sort of thing. I think after the wisdom, the prevailing ask from people, the vote, was for Constitution, because Constitution is one of the more gnarly ones. Strength and dexterity are very easy to explain. They're actually sports science. Dexterity is actually just your nerve conductivity speed, and strength is your muscle density, muscle fiber density. Do you think Wizard of the Coast trying to turn D&D into a subscription service has a real chance of success/survival? Not in its current format. The question becomes, is it enough to keep it a viable brand, a viable product that they actually invest creative stuff into? The more people support it, the more inclined I think they will be to stick with real artists and real creatives, putting real work into it and not just rely entirely on AI. But the thing is, AI is a highly competitive landscape as well. And just because you're a corporation doesn't mean you can produce the best AI ideas and codes and stuff and products, because Wizard of the Coast is not very innovative. They work on a 5-year timescale. So this was planned 5 years ago. And whereas individual operators and vibe coders can make stuff today, they're not held down by corporate policies or massive hierarchies of people who conceal the truth from each other to preserve their jobs and positions, or just the very fact that they're siloed, so nobody's talking to each other in the business. It is a mild winter every day in winter in New Zealand. It's very rarely very harsh. The South Island has got harsher winters, but they're dry, and the North Island has got wet winters that are less cold. So it's I prefer the dry winters down south, personally, because wet cold is the worst kind of cold. But it's never really particularly freezing cold. It never gets to below 10 degrees or 20 degrees or anything like that. Centigrade. Like, I think we just had a frost last night, and that was the first one. And it's not officially winter yet, but it's pretty close. Yeah, intelligence is book smart and wisdom is street smart. The interesting thing is that intelligence can be increased and trained, right? So you can train your intelligence by reading a lot and cramming as much information in there as possible. Maybe your recall isn't 100%, but you can be book smart. Whereas wisdom is supposed to be experiential. So it's what you've tried and failed, and it's hard bitten sort of thing. But it's also your perception. So you can be wise and have a high wisdom score and not have a lot of life experiences, but you're just more aware of the environment around you. Your senses are keyed in. You look in the right places at the right times. You've got the right amount of paranoia. You're devoting a large amount of your attention to the world around you. You're not just internal monologuing all the time. You're not daydreaming. You're really paying attention to the world around you. So the higher your wisdom score, the more acute that is. And but at the same time, the conflict comes with you've got a conflict between the wisdom attribute of your character and you as a player at the table, getting more and more familiar with the game and also what your game master, dungeon master, is likely to do. So how do you separate the character from metagaming as a player and your own personal knowledge and experience? So it's hard to say to a player, well, your character has checked for traps and has done all these prepared stuff. He's got caltrops and chalk, and he's checking wind speed and moss on the wall and things like that. And he's got a wisdom of 9, dude, because it's like your dump stat, you're a fighter. You're playing as somebody with a wisdom of like 12, And it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Just ignore danger and walk into it? Yeah, technically. Hope for a saving throw, but don't worry about it so much, Just dive in there. Bin win bronze bottom, Leroy Jenkins your way in there. That's what my character would do. Yeah, if you're playing according to the wisdom stat, which is not that high. So is that a fun experience? Not really. You want to use your experience as a player at the table. Of course you do. So there's a conflict with wisdom. Yeah, Wellington is windy. Windy Wellington. Wellywood. Yeah, D&D Beyond has been subscription-based for quite some time, so it's not a new thing. I think the main thing is that people are saying to Wizards of the Coast, hey, come on. If you're going to sell a book, sell us a PDF at the same time. And if you're going to sell a PDF, give us a download of it. It's going to get pirated anyway. What do you care? Just like give us permanency. Stop trying to, corral us into a revenue stream. We don't like it. That's not the way the industry operates, and we'll go elsewhere. We will. There's plenty of options out there, and they're gaining traction. They lost the market share before with Pathfinder during the whole scandal. So, yeah. Don't forget the OGL thing was like 4 years ago. It's been a long time, but we're still really pissed off. Yeah, loyal fans walked out, not to mention they're making less Dungeons and Dragons, more for the fictional audience. Yeah, so it is transitioning naturally according to people's play styles, and people do watch actual plays. They've grown up watching actual plays, Critical Role and Acquisitions Incorporated and Legends of Evantris and all these guys. They're good quality entertainment. I don't besmirch anybody coming into the hobby through those means. And of course, they want to emulate that style of play. Why not? Why wouldn't you? So 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, derived from wargaming back in the 1970s, is not fit for purpose. It's a clunky beast. You can strip it down and change all the cogs and whistles and things. But at the end of the day, it's a tabletop game. Really, you can play at Theatre of the Mind, but you can design a better Theatre of the Mind game with faster gameplay, and people want to play that way. They don't want to be bogged down with stuff. So yeah, and it is a hard ask asking somebody to fork out, $120 and read manuals of information that they're really not going to use in their streaming games and things. And some of these people are doing it for audiences, so that they've got to pay attention to what their audience wants. It's all well and good to be a loyal fan of the brand for years and years and years, but you can't ask people who are coming new and fresh into it to take on that mantle like it's their religion, because it ain't. Most people are casual. Thoughts on the return to simple thatch maps and books versus detailed colored ones? Well, you're talking to an old school artist. I love how people say, oh, your art is so like retro. And I'm like, because I'm old. I can't draw modern stuff. I don't even know what you mean. So, yeah. So I've gotten heavily into illustration again this year, and you've been watching, and I'm very thankful for all the people who watch my who look at my community posts and stuff, because it gives me a good vehicle to talk about what's coming up on the channel as well. But so I've been doing some old school, pencil drawings and then ink drawings. Here's my workhorse ink pen that I use. It's actually a ink brush tip, but it's a really fine brush tip. And that allows me to make scalloped sort of sweeps with a thick base and a flick at the end. And it's a refillable cartridge pen, so I can, although I haven't actually figured out how to take the thing off and refill it with the ink, but I can. So yeah, as long as the nib lasts. I've actually worn out the lettering on the thing already. Yeah, but it's really comfortable, and I just use a little board like this. It's actually a very broken tracing board, I think. Yeah, it's a USB thing, but it's just basically a plastic sheet and a couple of rubber bands on it, keep the page in place, and it's really easy to just sit wherever I am with my the board on my knee like this and just draw. That's why I don't do anything on camera anymore, because it's really uncomfortable being over like that with a flat surface, and it messes up my cross-hatching and stuff because my hand's in the wrong position. And I've got commissions, well, not commissions, but I've got work to do that I promised to do. Will I be showing the people the warrior on the horseback? I wasn't going to, Fred, because that is for the cover of your book. But I can, I suppose. Whereabouts is it? Oh, it's in my, I scanned it. Hang on a second. In my handy dandy studio, everything within reach. There we go. Hopefully everybody can see it. I got to wait for it to show up on the thing so I can position it right. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, the general idea was it's a player character, Monster Slayer, represented for a book of character options for Shadow Dark. And I was just obsessed with muscle mummies at the time, and I thought muscle mum will sell. Get a big, thick, strong warrior on there, and her face is kind of concealed by her arm because I wanted there to be a little bit of mystery about exactly what she was. Is she an elf? Is she a half orc? What is she? It's like, yeah, could be anything. It also avoids the controversy of whether she's a traditional orc or a pretty orc. So yeah. And I'm pushing myself to do larger and larger format stuff. Like I've got A2 size page, which I'm illustrating at the moment for just my own personal enjoyment. It's not earmarked for anything. Well, it's done now, Fred, so there you go. Hey, Raylan Smash. I think that's it. Thanks, man. Hey, Exodus. We once tried to provide examples of what levels could do stat levels could do in order to help players what they could and could not do. It was a disaster. Players like using their ideas and you can't tell them, no, you can't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, runs into problems. This is the other reason why alignment is less popular with new players of the game. Because it's like, what I have to play act. I have to play act believing in different moral things and stuff like that. It's anathema to the modern mindset, of certain generations. It's like, I have to say offensive things. It's like, no, you don't have to, but you got to act in a selfish fashion if you're playing an evil character. Or a neutral character is really actually a selfish character. They just call it neutral to avoid, nastiness, because certain places selfishness tends to run into evil. But yeah. Yeah, moral relativism, exactly. And it's all well and good for old school players to say, you're a bunch of pussies, because you can't play that sort of thing. But we're not facing the same sort of social pressures that these people are. If they stream and they say something offensive in character, it can get clipped and associated with them because, that's the way that the outrage thing works. Truth is subjective. And if the truth doesn't benefit your cancelling of somebody, it gets thrown out. And who actually goes back and checks the receipts? Not enough people, because they're all doom scrolling, It's a real thing. The Planescape factions. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I hope that people in their home games who aren't doing it, who aren't streaming it, who aren't performing it for an audience, are just exploring things like, with less regard for who they're going to offend at the table. If people know each other, have known each other for a while, then, explore controversial things by all means. If it's not in somebody's heart to be, really offensive or cruel or mean or anything, let them play the bad guy. The whole point is, put yourself in the shoes of these people and gain some sort of understanding of what their mindset is. And that way you can combat against it. You can predict what they do. Emulate evil to fight evil. You don't find a mock combat wherever he comes up and hugs and has roast marshmallows. No. You play act being enemies. What's the first mini I remember owning? I can't remember the first. It was definitely a metal mini. This was before plastic minis. Well, there were probably plastic minis around, but they weren't, injection molded or certainly not 3D printed. No, it was the one that was most memorable was the metal Oni that was from Rel Pathra, I think it was. The metal Oni was basically our go-to for any large-sized humanoid or giant creature because we had very few minis. We had 15, 16 or so. So instead of picking the miniature that best suits your character, you would repaint the metal mini to look a little bit like your character. And there was a lot of use of blue tack and plasticine and things like that. It's like, oh, he's got a cape. You'll stick a little piece of sellotape on him, a little bit of sticky tape. Yeah, there's his cape. Yay. So, yeah, we made do, We've got a lot of fond memories of stuff that was incredibly crappy, but that's all we had. Yeah, Grenadier had some great models. Yeah, I've made helmets out of paper mache and tape and stuff for sure. I still do stuff like that just for fun. Yeah, truth is not subjective. Social truth is quite often just whatever's convenient for your agenda. A Romulan bird of prey for Starfleet battles. That's a great one. Yeah. Yep, lead minis. Good old lead minis. And of course, I've made plenty of miniatures over the years. If anybody wonders what I'm playing with on my desk here, it's a tub of smoky hummus that I'm going to be eating with some thick cut crispy bacon chips for breakfast / lunch while I'm editing. Moving away from the sugary treats because I'm getting a bit thick around the middle. Your brain gets if you've been concentrating on something for 8 hours, your brain's like, give me sugar. It's like, no, you're getting fat instead. Yeah, I've got plenty of lead miniatures. No, you're not getting my chips, Ephubia. Carrots, yeah, they're okay, I suppose. I do eat tons of onion. I eat at least like 4 onions every 2 days, I would say. I average 2 onions a day. Just because it's such a good baseline thing. Like, if you're making a curry, for instance, and I particularly am fond, like my staple food is chicken satay. And what I do is I've got a roast chicken that I get from the supermarket. So I don't have to worry about cooking it. It's already cooked. It's only like, it's the price difference is like $3. And I will have that sitting on the bench, and I will then chop up 4 whole onions, and I'll fry them up in a pan along with some turmeric and some cardamom. And then I add like 4 teaspoons of sugar because the onions are going to get caramelized, right? So they're sweet. Then you add some peanut butter in there, and you cook that up, and the fats of the peanut butter mix through that, and with the turmeric and everything, and make a nice sort of spicy, smoky. Sometimes you can add a little bit of smoked paprika in there as well if you really want to. Then you add in your chicken after the onion is cooked down and caramelized. It's already cooked, so you don't really need to worry about it. Just shred it up and throw it in there. And then you add some thawed out mixed vegetables from the supermarket. This is the stuff which is frozen on site and then transported, so it's usually quite fresh and good quality. And throw that in there. You want your hard to grow vegetables like your carrots and beans and cauliflowers and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, throw that in there. And I usually add in a can of like 5 different beans. Throw that in there as well, and then throw in a whole can of coconut cream or coconut milk. Throw that in there as well. If you've got any extra like leftover legume type things, throw that in there as well. And you basically just cook that for a while until it's bubbling and brothing away nicely. And meanwhile, you throw you get your rice. About a cupful of rice will do about 4 meals or so. And you rinse that three times quite thoroughly, 3 times, and then you just, whatever container you've got that rice in, I cook it in the microwave. You just cover it with one up to your knuckle, your little finger, with water, and that is the perfect measure. No matter what container you've got, no matter how much rice you're cooking, cover it with that much water, and that is the perfect amount for the rice to absorb that water to its full size. It's just a law of physics that the Chinese discovered over millions of years. Anyway, it works. So you throw that in the microwave for 20 minutes, let it cool down and soak for like 3 minutes after that. Throw that straight into the curry, mix it up, good to go. That's my staple food. Yeah, cucumber, onion, sour cream, and vinegar. Great mix. Yeah, well, if the satay handles spiciness quite well as well. So the mixture of the peanut, the chicken, and the legumes and stuff carries the spiciness really well. You can load a lot of chili into anything with lots of peanut butter in it. In fact, one of the good ways to get used to, if you're going to a place which has got a lot of spicy foods and you know you've got an absolute pussy of a tongue, the way to toughen up is to get a peanut butter sandwich and just put whole chilies in there. Eat that, and the fats from the peanut butter will protect your mouth while your body is reacting after it's gotten through your sensitive mucous membranes. Your stomach will be absolutely on fire, and you will basically shit like a jet engine, but your body will adapt faster to spicy food if you do that. And at the same time, kill every single stomach bacteria you have. Elf versus Eldar, the Snub Wars. Yeah, well, the Eldar are elves, really. It is. That's actually I've got a lot of traveling tips from my dear departed grandfather, who was a world traveler. For instance, if you got some, I don't know if you have dried wheat type biscuit thingies. We call them wheat bix over here, but I guess if you've got tasty wheat or something like that, shredded wheat essentially. Take that with you if you're going to countries where you can't trust the food. And so you've got your wheat, that's good sort of baseline protein and carbohydrates. Then source yourself some milk and put that on there. Don't trust the water, but anything that comes out of a cow is filtered and fine. It's very easy to tell whether it's bad milk or not. You know, you just sniff the thing. So if you're in a country where you can't trust the filtered water or ice cubes or anything like that, drink milk, and eat tasty wheat. You'll be fine. You'll survive. That's how the red dragons do it. What's that, Zachary? Which ASI will I be covering next? I talk about the attributes. I'm just doing the wisdom attribute right now. Well, yes, of course the Eldar would win. They're millions of years old. They're responsible for, chaos gods. Yeah, red dragons would cook all the pathogens out of their food for sure. Yeah, so wisdom is going to be with us next. I'm just editing it together now. I've recorded the audio and everything. I'm just splicing together all the images and everything, which takes the most amount of time to do. Because I can't just make images. I've got to go and find them. Now I've got the extra complication of like, is that an AI image or not? I'm like, bringing out the forensic. Is that an extra finger? That pattern looks too irregular. Yeah, I try and pay attention these days. I dabbled with AI and I found it wanting. I still use AI for some aspects, like background music is from Suni or Suno, because as we know, if you put any music in your videos that's from any sort of recognized source, the third-party copyright claimants will come in and nab your entire video profits, which has been the case for me years and years and years and years. So I hope everybody understands that that's the pressures that we face. And as soon as we got AI music, it was just like, oh, thank God, I don't have to worry about that anymore. And I mean, who's really listening to my videos for the background music? Do I have any dice as a DM that I threw that just scare your players? You threw a dice with Fozzie Bear. The result meant nothing. I do have, So first of all, I got a bunch of dice that I have always wanted manufactured, including a mood dice. And the mood dice, I don't think I have one right here, but it's basically all the different smiley face emojis, right? Because there's 12 cardinal emotional states. And so I've got a 12-sided die, which has got all the different cardinal emotional states. So when they meet an NPC, I go, well, what's his starting reaction? And I roll that dice and I look at it and he goes, oh, he's mildly flirty, or he's angry about something. And you can also roll it for a random reaction to stuff. And it's a really, really useful dice. For me, it just makes it interesting roleplay that character in a way that I wasn't expecting, because otherwise I might default to a certain pattern. This way it just breaks up my own pattern, forces me to roleplay them in unexpected ways. Yeah, I understand that people use my videos as a sleep aid. This wisdom one will be a prime example because, yeah, I cover a lot of stuff really quickly, and you're going to have to watch this video multiple times to get a lot of the concepts and stuff in there, because it blurs by pretty quickly. Even though it's 40 minutes, I mean, the script is 6,800 words or something like that. It's a lot. It's a lot. Because I covered, 50 different source books, 50 years of role-playing editions, plus only 6 or 7 Dragon magazines had actually relevant information about wisdom specifically. But they're pretty good. They're pretty good. rolled Fozzie Bear. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it was fun to make the music video, but it's not really my thing. I'm concentrating on like doing legitimate, authentic artwork and stuff. And I've always wanted to like be in bands or sing or something like that, but it's never eventuated. And I'm not comfortable muscling in on, actual musicians' territory or taking money that would otherwise go to them. But there's not a lot of people making D&D death metal. So, yeah, it's still wide open for people to come in. Thank you. Yes, people who listen to the really long videos multiple times, that you're keeping my cat fed. Thank you very much. He appreciates it. Oh, the Dragonbone dice roller. Man, that's retro as hell. I can't believe you still got one in work. Do you still have it in working condition? Hey, thanks, man. Many more pictures to come. I'm just getting started, really. You may notice there's been a progression in the complexity and difficulty of what I do, because I don't like producing the same thing over and over. I don't like getting into comfort spots in my artwork. I want to continually push what I can do to the point where I'm just like, I can't do it, and have to have a break for a while. Yes, Zachary, the kitty he's about 5 kg now. He's a big boy. I've noticed when I'm grooming him for fleas and bits of grass seed and stuff like that he's got lots of dings and healing up scabs and stuff. So he's big enough now that he's starting to muscle in on the neighborhood and get into fights. I'm like, yeah, you go get him, boy. You can get there, boy. It's like, protect your territory. He's a good cat, though, really. He just makes sure that wandering stray cats don't walk onto my property and piss all over my garden. Yeah, I can imagine having the skill of Coldwell and Elmore. It's just a matter of persistence, discipline, and sticking at it, man. Like, every technique can be learned, and drawing is mostly muscle memory and experience and just research. Like, you'll end up looking like your style will emulate the stuff that you absorb. I mean, we are learning CPUs, we're AIs ourselves. So whatever input we put in is the style that we will produce. But every artist has got an individual style, and that's the thing. That's why you can tell when something is consistently made by a single person, because it's not generic. It's got a vibe. It's got a look to it. And I think people will become increasingly more aware of that, and they'll hunger for that individual style more than even the skill of somebody. They'll just go, look, this is authentic artwork, and if we support this person, he's going to get better. And I like his style. I like the way he rounds things, how blobby this particular thing, or how he has a particular twist to his stone structures and stuff. I like the vibe of it. It just appeals to me. I can't say why. I like that better than this. But they're both cool. Like Richard Witters, for instance, and Brian Froud, and those guys with their particular style is what I would like to be like. Richard Witters can crack out a stack of D&D like paraphernalia and things behind a character that would take me a long time to get right. Like just drawing an urn really well, an interesting way, is really difficult. I've gotten better at doing swords and things like that doesn't look like a stick with a crossguard. Make them interesting, give them a fantasy vibe, give them a curve and stuff. Yeah, but some artists are just better at doing that sort of thing, and it's just the way their brain works. Yeah, I do. I've got a local gaming group that I've just joined, really, and we've had our session 0 with our first campaign, and we're going to be using the Nimble RPG. So it's all new. We've got a really good community center here that's like a full-on professional conference room with it's all integrated, got, all the bells and whistles, Wi-Fi and all that sort of stuff. It's, got air conditioning and everything. And like proper executive office chairs. It's crazy. And we get to use it for free because it's so underutilized. We just get booted out every time somebody actually books the hall properly. It's like, get out of here, you role players. And our locker space that we can store all our miniatures and stuff is woefully small compared to the amount of stuff that I brought in there. I brought in full-on, combat containers full of miniatures and stuff. They're like, Jesus, we're not going to use all this stuff, surely. I was like, well, it's there if you want it. Plus, the library itself actually bought some game books and some generic map tiles and stuff like that for people to use, and boxes of miniatures of all things. They got like them; they're all laid out in sets and stuff. I'm like, wow! It's the first time I'd ever seen, a public enterprise funding an RPG group. A voice, yes, thank you, Carlos. That's it. Oh, that's right. I've forgotten. There's super chats. Thank you. A voice in the art. Writing or music, for sure. Yeah, preserve your voice. Even if you, like with writing, if you edit down your writing so that you think that it's, you've lost your voice, it's still there. It's still there, the cadence and things. I have to say that my wisdom video, because there's so much research and stuff that went into it, it doesn't have the sort of consistent conversational vibe to it. It's definitely a more constructed conversation. And you can tell immediately when I'm breaking free from the script because there's something else that I wanted to add to it. So you'll see bits where the subtitles sort of stop and I'm just talking because I'm not reading from the pages. And I don't know whether that's a trend that will continue with a more sort of formal writing style, but I'm sort of writing with the view that I'm probably going to publish it at some stage. Like that's good material, like the guide to the attributes. If I cover all of them, that would be, I think, a good book to publish, One consistent topic that covers all of the history and everything of it. We'll see. That's a US thing. We don't really have Crown Royal here. Not to the level that it would be commonplace. It would be extremely expensive, I'd imagine. No, but we have dice bags. Usually it was sunglasses bags or sunglass cases that we'd carry our dice in. But I mean, I just stitched my own. So, would you? AJ's Guide to the Attributes. Well, no. I mean, I've already written it, so I suppose it's just a matter of transcribing it and editing it properly. Yes. Yeah, I've got to get more material up on DriveThruRPG. And I want to make artwork collections and stuff for colouring books. So you can colour in my books, my artwork. Anyway, it must be time for me to go. I'm getting that psychic vibe that it's been about an hour. Oh, we're a bit short. It's close to it, though. Yeah, 53 minutes. I've got a sixth sense now that an hour is up. AJ's Guide to Roleplay. Oh, I don't know. Oh. Super chat. Thank you. Okay, I'll stick around. I saw the Warlock video. Thanks. Wow, see, that's me. I saw the Warlock video as well as the attribute-centric videos. Absolutely excellent. Do you think Warlocks fit better as intelligence or charisma-based or some distinct mix? I think they fit definitely charisma-based and more so even than intelligence because, it's primarily charisma. I'd say the next thing for just self-preservation is wisdom. But, because it's difficult. You could argue, well, it's very unwise to pact away your soul to some otherworldly force or whatever. But in a world where they don't have the intelligence to be a spellcaster, it makes sense that they would look for some other means. So they're driven, they're observant, and they see through their observation, through their high wisdom, they see an alternate path. And they see that it's just Well, it's just fear, holding people back because they don't have the intelligence to do the research and see that this is a bad idea. So they'll follow the dark path and they'll read the secret runes, and they've got the charisma to carry them through. Yeah, the force of will, you could say. And they're strong enough willed, but not smart enough to self-regulate and realize that their ambition is going to get them killed. Which is a dangerous combo. High wisdom, high charisma, low intelligence. That's your demagogue, your cult of personality. My favorite creature to draw? Well, as I say, I like to draw different things all the time, but I mean, it's telling that the first few things that I've drawn are Beholder and Dragon. So the classics, and trolls. I'm about to draw a troll, so I like drawing trolls too. But for the most part, I think the easiest thing to draw, ironically, is a really complex aberration, because I don't have to conform to any anatomical rules. It's just tentacles and fangs and claws and god-awful, horrible stuff. Entrails everywhere. Eyeballs. Goo. You're bringing in a reborn undead warlock for our Spelljammer Games Egyptian arc. He's taking a nice nap until the evil empire starts looting tombs. The perfect resource for that is Mr. Rex's source book. I swear it was right behind me a minute ago. Where on earth did I put it? I do not know. Sands of Doom. Yeah, so go and grab a copy of Sands of Doom. He's got tons, and so he's like spent 2 years writing that thing. He's got tons of stuff in there. It's a really good book. A great old troll mini, yeah. The Pathfinder troll miniature was one of my favorites for a long time. Ah, yes, Palladium. I would probably pay more attention to Palladium and write more stuff for Palladium if Palladium is actually still producing books like that. But it's been a long time since they've produced a world book. I think they stalled on Rifts Antarctica or something like that. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like trying to give CPR to a dead horse at this point. I don't see their audience growing very much. And while it will always be a love of mine, I mean, I've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Kickstarter right there on the shelf behind me. And I can still run a Heroes Unlimited game almost without the book. I'm so familiar with it. And I do have an abiding love for the STC titles. Rift is okay, but I still like, Heroes Unlimited and Beyond the Supernatural. Beyond the Supernatural is a particular favorite. But yeah, I probably won't be making videos about it anytime soon, which is sad because it is a really rich and fantastic setting, particularly Rifts, because it's like, so unique. Anything goes. And it did it first. It was one of the first universal rule systems, which is now commonplace for, like Free League has got a rule system they use in multiple things. Mongoose Press has got their own rule system, for better or for worse. God, it's an awful, awful rule system. I would love to buy the Traveller books and stuff, but I just can't get behind that rule system, man. It's awful. It just doesn't make any sense. Hey, Sky, do you think in the... thank you for the super chat. Do you think in the Forgotten Realms there could ever be a Hydra large enough to pull a dragon in flight down and kill it? Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah. Because it's entirely up to you. Yeah, I don't think there's ever been, I don't know if there's ever, because Hydras are supposed to, and they're based on a Greek fantasy, a Greek mythology, and there was only one Hydra. There was only ever one Hydra. So they are supposed to be legendary creatures, and legendary means they're whatever you want them to be. They should be different every time they encounter them. Like, I'm fully in favor of having a world setting where there is no such thing as specific breeds of dragon. every dragon is a unique mutant, so you never know what you're going to get. Is it a cobra dragon with like 8 legs? Yeah, it's got, there's a lot of things that your average peasant will call a dragon. I mean, Komodo dragons, dragonflies. I am doing well, thank you, Dungeon Guide. I'm about to head off though. This is really just me procrastinating from doing the editing for my last video. 40 minutes of editing. 40-minute video means about 8 to 10 hours of editing. It's a hard yakka, as we say in New Zealand. Hard yakka, mate. Or as we say in New Zealand properly, got to do the mahi. Got to do the work. I think the worst part of it is I have to listen to my own voice for 10 hours. Yep. I'm probably going to cover Constitution next, I think. I haven't seen any major objections from anybody about that. The Orium Dragon DM. Wow, that's specific. All right, I've got to go. We'll give you money to stay longer. I'll run out of things to say, honestly. Unless you guys have got something which really sets me off. AJ's Astonishing Attributes. That's a good one, Orium Dragon. I might keep that. Oh, no, I never submitted to Dungeon or Dragon magazine back in the day. I did submit to the Rifter, and I had the Blade Mage published in Rifter number, I've forgotten, 32, something like that. I submitted the manuscript on the year 2000, and it got published 3 years later. I haven't actually run Ravenloft, believe it or not. Thanks, Carlos. Dude, you're a legend. Favorite plot hooks for season 1's very different all the time. I would read out the list of plot hooks and adventure ideas that I brought to my first gaming session for our campaign. But unfortunately, my players have discovered the fact that I am a YouTuber, and they may actually watch my videos. So, damn. I tried to stay anonymous as long as possible, but they found me. Isn't that annoying? They have no idea. Like, they get to get me as a DM, and they have no idea that I'm this YouTuber. Meanwhile, people who have been watching me for 10 years is like, good, I'll kill to have you DM me a game, and they're like, nah, he's alright. My thoughts on Ravenloft is that it's a highly popular game. It's got a particular vibe. It's almost like D&D Call of Cthulhu. It's got gothic vibes to it. It's known, it's well known, and a lot of people have played it, so it's got a community around it. And there's a lot of dialogue around it. It's easy to approach. It's dark and cool. It's spicy. So yeah, I can see why it's very popular. And, who doesn't love vampires? Me! I don't love vampires. Scare the shit out of me. Is that why Sands of Doom is great, as there's no online content on it yet? Well, I guess so. I think there must be some reviews, surely. The Sage of Cheese, yeah. Got to scare the players, for sure, yeah. Ravenloft is good because you're in for it, right? As a player, you're in big trouble. That it's probably not going to end well for you. So there's that doom spiral sort of thing. It's like, we got to carry on. The thing that I guess makes it different from Call of Cthulhu is that what the big bad is. He's not exactly subtle. There's no sort of mystery to it, but there's mystery around the periphery of it. So it's finding the ways in, hoping that there's an easier path to deal with the big bad, but therein lies the adventure. My thoughts on ElfQuest. I don't really have much thoughts on ElfQuest. I've sort of seen bits, articles for it and stuff in Dragon magazines over the years. I don't think I ever actually read the source books per se. But I mean, it was very popular, for sure. This is around the same time that the original Middle-earth role-playing game and Han and Random Roll Table Master, whatever they called it. Yeah. That was where I fell in love with like random roll tables, for sure. And Warhammer. Like a Warhammer Fantasy, not Warhammer 40k. All right, that's it for sure. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. I will be back soon with another live stream. I'm sorry I have been... Oh, yes. We got to mourn the loss of the godfather of Grimdark, the artist who is responsible for all of that as well. We've lost a great talent, but such as it is. Okay, catch you later, everybody.